Welcome in, Capricorn, to Great Awakener Ether Realm. My name is Kimberly, and I have to apologize. First off, I did not release a video last week. I was very busy at work, and I just couldn't get it in. So I'm going to do a 2-week report from February 3rd to the 16th. If you want to listen to the first week that has already passed, maybe see if it resonates, that'd be a great way for me to learn more, put a little more knowledge in my book about these aspects. But if you want to also skip it and just skip to this coming week, you're obviously more than welcome to as well. Okay? So let's try this again. I actually recorded a video for you just to discover that my mic went dead about 10 minutes in. So let's try it one more time, right? All right. So Monday the 3rd, Moon conjuncts Chiron and squares Mars. Okay. So the Moon rules Cancer and Mars rules Aries. So you have this mutual reception going on. It is a square, but with the energies flowing like they do with mutual receptions, it's not such a bad square, right? It's a flowy square. This takes place in your home sector and your partnership sector. Home and family, partnerships, whether romantic or business. The Moon is also conjuncting Chiron. Chiron's been in Aries since 2018. It's an energy that we're pretty used to, but when you have aspects to it, like the Moon conjuncted or Mars squaring it, it activates it basically, and you're going to feel more of its energy. Now, Chiron is called the wounded healer. It is all about doing shadow work and healing your inner wounds. With it being in your 4th house of home and family, you could be healing some wounds around your family. Also, it also represents the mother. And Cancer is the natural ruling house of the 4th house, okay, which the Moon rules. So you also have an emphasis on the mother and the 4th house with the Moon being in Aries. Okay. Also on the 3rd, Mercury trines Jupiter at 11 degrees. Aquarius is your 2nd house of your values, how you see your self-worth, how you earn your money, how you spend your money. Okay, and that is trining Gemini, which is your 6th house of daily habits. The things that we do on a daily basis, our work schedule, our health routine, what have you. Okay, a nice little trine going in there. You might have be changing up, reevaluating like your values compared to what you do as with daily habits. Maybe you might be spending some money on a new gym membership. 6th house also has to do with sports and competition. You might be joining a new sport, possibly, somewhere around there. We also have the Mars Mars squaring Chiron, and then we have the Moon moving into Taurus, and it's going to make a square to Pluto in Aquarius. Again, your 2nd house of values. Taurus is your 5th house of children, romance, and creativity. So you might be, maybe spending some money on a child, on a romantic get-together, on a creative project. You might be earning some money from a creative project. Okay. Also, happening on Monday going into Tuesday, we have got Venus entering Aries. Aries, again, is your 4th house of home and family. So a lot of emphasis on your home and family right now. Venus is detriment in Aries as it rules Libra. But it also rules Taurus, which is, again, your fifth house of children, romance, creativity. So you might be having a child come and stay with you in your home for a while. Let's see, maybe, Libras is your career sector, so maybe you might be thinking about starting a career from your home. Okay. Then on the 4th, Jupiter turns direct in Gemini at 11 degrees. It's been retrograde for about 5 months now. Gemini, again, is your 6th house of daily habits. So a lot of emphasis on your daily habits and your values system, and of course your home sector. Excuse me. Jupiter has been in Gemini since last year. It's been retrograde for the past 5 months. Basically, that means that internally wise, you've been thinking about, you've had ideas and you've been thinking about implementing certain things, right? But until Jupiter goes direct, that's the time that you want to start implementing, is when Jupiter actually starts going direct. Okay, so it's a good time to start implementing any changes you want to make in that sector. Then from Tuesday going into Wednesday, we have a lot of aspects with the moon. When this happens, the moon, people's moons can go up and down because the moon rules our emotions, and making several different aspects at almost the same time can be overwhelming, can create maybe a little anxiety. But so the moon squares Mercury. The moon is in Taurus, and it squares Mercury in Aquarius at 12 degrees. Okay. Then it comes in to square the sun at 16 degrees. Then it sextiles Saturn at 17 degrees. And then it sextiles Mars at 19 degrees. And then it comes in and conjuncts Uranus at 23 degrees. And then it sextiles Neptune at 28 degrees. Okay? That is 6 different aspects in one day. It can be overwhelming. Okay? So, starting with Aquarius, that is your 2nd house of values. So, and then your 5th house of children, romance. So you have something going on with your value system in square aspect to your children, romance, and creativity. Okay, you might be earning some money on a creative project. You might be spending money on some children. Again, same things going on here as earlier with Mercury. With Mercury trining Jupiter. I apologize. Me doing this reading over again, I'm getting myself confused here. Like, did I already say that? I'm not sure. So, after all of that commotion, the moon goes into Gemini, okay, to where it trines Pluto and it sextiles Venus, and then it comes into a conjunction with Jupiter. Again, so much emphasis on your value system, okay, and your home and your daily habits. You might be looking into your daily habits I'm trying to come up with some scenarios that might resonate with you. But basically, 2nd house, how you see your self-worth, how you spend your money, how you earn your money. Okay, and then you have Aries is your home, your family, and the mother as well. Gemini, 6th house, daily habits, work routine, health routine. Okay. Okay. Then on Friday the 7th, Venus comes in and sextiles Pluto. Now, I've been telling everybody this little story, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. A lot of people look at Venus and Mars as the lovers of the zodiac, which they are, okay? But there's also, a little something, something going on with Venus and Pluto as well. Now, if you study Greek or Roman mythology and also, use that in astrology, and on top of that, possibly study astronomy as well, it's a lot easier and a lot more profound to see the whole picture of astrology, okay? So, the story with Pluto and Venus kind of wraps into the story of Pluto and Persephone, okay? And so, I'm going to kind of paraphrase this whole story, all right? Pluto kidnaps Persephone. Demeter, her mother, or Ceres, whichever one you want to use, complains to Zeus. Zeus is Persephone's father, okay? Zeus comes to a compromise with Pluto, and Persephone will spend 6 months out of the year in the underworld and 6 months out of the year in the upper world with her mother. Now, when she's with her mother's happy, and Demeter is the goddess of agriculture. So she's planting seeds and she's growing, and everything's beautiful, spring and summer. And then when Persephone goes into the underworld, everything dies because Demeter is sad and she doesn't want to do the work, right? So, which of course is fall and winter. So the story is Venus right now is the evening star, okay? Which means that when the sun goes down in the western horizon, you can start to see Venus going down in the western horizon, okay? On March 1st, Venus goes retrograde. It'll come about up here to about Chiron and then start going retrograde, and we'll actually go back into Pisces for a little bit. And it will hit that conjunction that I spoke about a couple weeks ago between Venus, Neptune, the Moon, and the North Node, okay, which is a very karmic point. Now, the Venus retrogrades for 6 weeks. The sun comes in and overtakes Venus. When the sun overtakes Venus and you can't see Venus, Venus is now in the underworld, okay? Now, the next time we see Venus, it's going to rise in the east before the sun comes up and is now the morning star, okay? So going into the underworld and coming out of the underworld, okay? So that ties into the story between Pluto and Persephone. That's why Venus has the name of the morning star, the evening star, and Lucifer. Okay? Now, there are a bunch of differences, differentiations in the stories, depending on who you read them from, but I gave you the gist of it, all right? So, going back to Friday the 7th, a whole lot of moon action again. We have got the moon trining Mercury at 17 degrees, okay? And then we have the moon square Saturn at 18 degrees, moon try the sun at 18 degrees. Then we have the moon sextile Chiron at 19 degrees. Then we have the sun coming into sextile Chiron at 19 degrees. And then we have, later that night, we have the moon, taking a little bit of a break and then coming into square Neptune. So, Friday, another day of a whole lot of, possible just roller coaster of emotions, okay? So, of course, in your case, this is all going down in your second house of values and your 6th house of daily habits. Also, your 3rd house of community with Saturn and Neptune there. Now, the moon comes in to square Neptune and the lunar nodes. Whenever you have a square between the moon and Neptune, it's very ethereal. but it can bring out the not so great sides of the planets. You know, the squares can. Every planet has their goods and bads, okay? Neptune is, you know, the goods of it. The good parts are spirituality, unconditional love, the ethereal, daydreaming, dreams, okay? But the not so great side of it is taking it too far and basically going into escapism, okay? Using substances, you know, things like that, that you're just trying to escape from the world. Not always the best idea. You're going to see the negative consequences when you see squares and oppositions, especially when they're squaring the lunar nodes. It's very karmic. The lunar nodes, I went into this in my last videos, but the lunar nodes are where eclipses occur. Okay, so they form very karmic connections. Okay, so let's see. That happens late on Friday going into Saturday, the 7th and the 8th. Then the moon moves into Cancer, where it squares Venus. Now, Cancer is your partnership sector. Aries is your home and family sector. It's coming in and doing these squares. It's hitting this square again. You know, it hit this square here, and then it's going to hit this square here, and you know, a lot of stuff going on with your home and family and your partnerships sector. Okay. Then we have Mercury sextile Chiron at 19 degrees. Again, value sector, home sector. Now, like I've told everyone else, all of the planets are between Aquarius and Cancer right now. Everything is just squished together in this half of the zodiac, right? Until about, I believe it's April 18th that Mars goes back into Leo. So there's a lot of focus for you as a Capricorn. Aquarius is your second house of values, how you see your self-worth, earned income, and how you spend your money. Okay? Pisces is your community sector, short distance travel, communication, siblings, neighbors, your small community, you know, that you may have grown up in, early childhood learning. Okay? Aries, your family and home sector and your mother. Taurus is your fifth house of children, creativity, and romance. Gemini is your sixth house of daily habits, work schedule, health routine, what have you. Cancer, your seventh house of partnerships, whether business or romantic. All of the emphasis is on these sections right here. Okay. Now, obviously, the moon still moves through here every 2 to 2.5 days. The moon moves signs. Okay, but the planets they're going to be in those sectors for a while. Okay. Okay, moving on to Sunday the 9th. Mercury conjuncts the Sun at 20 degrees in Aquarius. And then Mercury is going to overtake the Sun after that. We then have Mars trining Saturn, and then the Moon coming in to join in that trine. A lot of people think that Saturn and Mars are like oil and water, but it's completely untrue. In fact, Mars is actually is exalted in Capricorn because Saturn, just in case you don't know, but Saturn is the natural ruler of Capricorn. Okay, it's also the traditional ruler of Aquarius, just to throw that in there. But Capricorn and Saturn is all about discipline and setting goals and hitting those goals, okay? Having the discipline to do so. Just getting to work. Mars is all about passion and intensity. Now, if you can get those two subjects to work together, you can move mountains, right? So when you have it in a trine like this, trines are the friendliest aspects that you can get. And then you also have the moon coming in that rules Cancer as well, so there's just extra emphasis on that as well. The moon acts as an amplifier. You want to look at it as amplifying energies, reflecting energies. What does the moon do? It reflects the sunlight of the sun, right? But it also reflects all of the other planets' energies just like it does the sun. It's just that you can't see it like you can the sunlight, okay? So when the moon comes in, it amplifies this energies as well. So you may have some kind of goal set in your third house in Pisces. Third house is all about community. Again, communication, short distance travel. You might have some kind of goal that you've been working at, and Saturn has been in Pisces for the last 2 years. Okay, so when Cancer comes around, or excuse me, Mars comes around. So at first, a long while back, Mars trined Saturn going this way. Now that it's retrograde, it's trining Saturn coming this way. And then when it comes out of retrograde, February 23rd, it's going to make a third trine to Saturn. The same aspect, okay, just at little different degrees. So whatever goals that you were trying to hit, either within your community or within your partnerships, or both, of course. You could be forming a partnership with a neighbor, with a sibling, you know. It's going to be a lot easier. That goal that you're trying to set, or that you have set, can come to fruition once Mars comes back into direct motion, February 23rd, and then it hits that third trine with Saturn. Like, then it's go time, okay? So I want to throw that out there, especially since Saturn is your ruling planet. It's just more emphasis on that, okay? Okay. We also have the moon coming in to make this darn, we have this square aspect between Chiron and Mars that's been going on for some time because they're both slow-moving planets, especially with Mars in retrograde. Chiron is just a very slow-moving planet. So it hits this square here, it hits this square here. It's also going to hit this square when it comes into Libra. And it just keeps going until they move out of the square aspect. So a lot of inner healing is going on with your partnerships and your family, okay? Then the moon moves into a trine with Uranus in Taurus, which is your fifth house of children, romance, creativity, and your, sextiling your partner. So you might begin a creative venture with a partner in business, something like that. Okay. Okay, then the moon comes in and trines Neptune. Very relaxed aspect, very daydreamy, And then the moon moves into Leo. Now this is the 10th on Monday. The moon moves into Leo and opposes Pluto and trines Venus. Again, kind of setting off that aspect with the Pluto and Venus sextile that we have going on here. Now, just like when we hit these squares, when the moon is here, it's still the same problem, but you have a different perspective on it. And then when the moon comes here, still the same problem, but you have a different perspective on it. Same thing with these. When you have the moon coming in, making this opposition and trine to this sextile, it's not exactly a problem because it's sextile and trine, right? But you get a different perspective of it, okay? Leo is your 8th house of other people's money, taxes, debt, sex, death, transformation, rebirth, intimacy, okay? So going from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday, we have a lot of aspects that kind of intertwine with each other. The first one is Mercury coming in to make a square to Uranus in Taurus. Then we have the Sun coming in to make that same square to Uranus in Taurus. Values, how you see your self-worth, earned money, how you spend your money. Squaring your children, creativity, and romance. Okay? Maybe you might be spending some money on some children, on a romantic partner, on a creative endeavor. Okay? Maybe you might be earning money from a creative endeavor. Okay? And then, as those come around, we then have the moon come in to square Uranus and then oppose the Sun in Aquarius, meaning that we have a full moon in Leo at 24 degrees. Excuse my raspy voice. I've been redoing this video and I did 12 others, So I hope you're understanding of it. Okay, so we have the moon now in Leo, which is your 8th house again. Other people's money, which is taxes, debts, loans, and then sex, death, transformation, rebirth. You want to think of like the rising phoenix when you think of the 8th house. Opposing the Sun in Aquarius, Leo, the Sun is the ruler of Leo. Okay. We also have Mercury conjunct the Sun, and we have these coming in and squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now, you have the Sun that rules Leo, you have Pluto that rules Scorpio, and you have Uranus that rules Aquarius in Taurus. This is all fixed energy here. Fixed energy is all about making a decision and sticking with it. And being stubborn if you have to be stubborn, right? Fixed signs get a bad rep for being stubborn. But it's all about getting the facts, putting those facts together, as much information as you can, and then making the best decision that you can and sticking by it. There's no wishy-washiness to it, okay? So something is going to be illuminated in your 8th house. When we talk about full moons, we always talk about where the moon is instead of the Sun, because it rules your emotions. Emotions are very powerful, especially when it's opposing the Sun, which the Sun rules your ego. Okay, so something about your 8th house, either debts, finances, intimacy with a partner. When we talk about death, it doesn't really mean death, like you're going to die or something. It means transformation. It means the death of something that no longer serves you, okay? Getting rid of that out of your life so that you can bring in something new, okay? Full moons are about illumination, illuminating whatever problem you are facing so that you can face it, accept it, and transform it into something good, okay? So that happens on the 12th, okay? So something going on here with finances, values, sex and intimacy, your self-worth, and your children, romance, creativity, okay? Also, with it conjunct Mercury, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and Virgo. It's all about communication, short distance travel, early learning, commerce, okay? Again, your third, it rules the natural 3rd house, so it's about community as well, okay? And then the moon moves into Virgo. Now there's this spot here where the moon is not making any aspects to any planets, okay? Between the 24 degrees and the 11 degrees of, it's going to come in and make a square to Jupiter in Gemini. So you have 17 degrees here where the moon is not making any aspects to any planets, okay? So the moon, like I like to say, the moon can just be the moon. You can sit in your feelings